Welcome, guys, to the podcast talking about Israel and Palestine. And as you know, we are now currently in Israel and Palestine, and this podcast will be for the next episodes talking with Israel and Palestine. And I'm very delighted and very honored to have those two guys here on my podcast, namely Basel Adra and Yuval Abraham. Welcome. So, guys, so thank you again for joining. And my first question would be, how are you really after this whirlwind year? How do you feel, Basel?
Thank you for having us. The winning was a big appreciation for our work, for Masafer Yatta, for our story, the community here. We feel honored for the success of the documentary that we spent 5 years working on it. But also we feel very disappointed because it didn't help the situation on the ground, where everything is collapsing, and it's just what's happening here double from what people see in no other land. Demolitions became much worse, settlers' violence as well, expansion of settlements, and daily life became very hard.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Basel. What about you, Yuval? How are you doing right now?
If I'm being honest, I feel horrible. Just this morning, 80 people in Gaza were killed by the Israeli military, and yesterday more than 100, and 2 days ago more than 150. And you see these massacres and these images of body parts of children, like children burned to death, people burning alive every night for a campaign that is openly being stated as one where the end goal is an ethnic cleansing, or the way Israel calls it, the Trump plan, like manifesting the Trump plan.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly crimes against humanity committed every single day. And I don't know, we won the Oscar and all of these things, but what does it even mean? To me, it's meaningless when we are seeing these horrors happening and when they're not stopping, and when the world, and especially Germany, is not taking any action to pressure my country to stop it. So I feel really, really, really bad. And if I'm being honest, not sure what I can do, and not sure what anybody can do. But I know that I know what people with power can do, but I'm not feeling well. I believe in a political solution that today seems very, very far away, but one that is not based on Israeli supremacy, but on equality.
And you just mentioned that you over the time became friends, and I was asking, like, everything that happens, and you described it very sadly. How do you maintain your friendship? Is it possible to maintain a friendship, and what is how do you do it?
I don't think, honestly, that it's possible in the sense that Israelis and Palestinians can be friends while my military is, as I said, massacring civilians every single day when there is an occupation. Like we cannot really expect friendships and Israelis and Palestinians being together. And, I see a lot of people in Europe really want to have this vision. Maybe it can happen one day, but as long as that there is such a power imbalance, as long as, one people have rights and statehood and an ability to achieve their political and individual freedom, and another people for decades are deprived of those rights. I don't see it happening, and I don't think we should, expect it to happen. It doesn't make sense. I think the reason why there is tensions between Israelis and Palestinians is because for decades Israel is maintaining a regime where Israelis are supreme Palestinians. And if that is changed, if we change that, if we reach a political solution, then of course there can be clear pathways for relations and for friendships and for business and for whatever. But I think as long as this is the situation, it will honestly be rare.
Of course, we observed also your speech at the Berlinale that sparked very strong backlash in Germany, including accusations of anti-Semitism, of like racism. I don't know. What exactly, guys, happened, and how did that affect you?
I don't know how it is in Germany. I worry that the German population is a little bit kind of maybe detached from what is happening in Gaza right now and how urgent it is. It's not a time really for talk. It's a time for action. Like, I think Germany, to me, it's crazy they are continuing business as usual. So if Germany thinks that supporting this is somehow learning from their history, or that supporting this is somehow an expression of their commitment to Jewish people because of the fact that they murdered our grandparents, then I think they are failing the lessons of history. And it's important for me to say this as a Jewish Israeli to the German audience. Don't do this for me. Don't allow this policy of mass killing and murder of Palestinians to pass and say that you're doing this for me. You're doing this because of you.
How could a society be so detached from or lacking empathy for another people?
I don't know if I can, I can try to think of explanations. That, of course, the violence of October 7th and before, that it affects the Israeli society. But to see the society reach a place which is, as you said, I mean, the idea that there is no civilians in Gaza, that everybody, their lives have no value. Like, I really believe that if the reports in the Israeli media were not 600 Palestinians killed by the military over the past few days, but 600 dogs killed or 600 cats killed, that the Israeli public would care much more. I'm not kidding. They would care much more about that. This is the situation of the society right now.
No human being on this global should be killed for trying to have life requirement or water or electricity or a home, and watching Israeli bulldozers reaching out to a school and destroying it after kicking out the kids from their classrooms.
Guys, thank you very much for coming into this podcast. Thank you for your time, for everything that you've been doing, and good luck for you, Yuval and Basel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.